Hey everybody, it's Daisy here. I'm super excited. I got another Galaxy girl in the house. Woohoo! I have Mrs. Illinois Galaxy on Candace Green. She's going to be right with us, so stick with us right here on Pageantry Now. Hey everybody, Stacy. I am so happy to have you all with us. Surprise! It's another broadcast. I feel like Maria Torres should start sending me kickbacks. I'm kidding, Maria. I love you. I adore you. It is my pleasure to be able to highlight the amazing queens that are in the Galaxy system and be able to share their stories. And I've got Candace Green on. She's going to talk all about her quest for the crown for Mrs. Galaxy. Before we do that, just let me tell you a little bit about Pageantry Now. We're all about positivity in pageantry and being able to highlight the amazing things that title holders do using a crown and a sash. We love for our crownies, the viewers, to be part of the conversation. So if you're out there and you're watching, please leave comments, ask questions, be part of the conversation. That makes it a whole lot less stressful for me and for Candace too, because you're asking and we can participate with you. But make sure you keep them PC because we've got teenagers and children that do go back and listen to our broadcasts and watch on replay. So and if you haven't already, please like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. One day I'll TikTok. I don't know. That's a whole nother story. With that being said, let's get this party started. Here we go.
Hi. Hello. Thank you. Hi, Stacy.
How are you, Candace? I'm like, oh, okay. We're awake. You're like, I'm so calm and serene.
I'm all zen right now,
you know. I'm like, I've had too much caffeine probably at this point. So do me a favor, introduce yourself to everybody so they know who you are.
Sure. Greetings and good evening, everyone. I am Candace Green, Mrs. Illinois Galaxy. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome.
Yay! I know there's people watching. There's people filing in. So again, everybody, if you're watching, ask questions, like be part of the conversation. We do appreciate that. It just makes things more fun for us because then, you know, sometimes you guys will think of things. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll wait. All right. So I always ask the question, there's a her story to it, but do you like frogs? Why or why not?
Do I like frogs? Why or why not? You know what? I actually do like frogs. I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and sometimes people use a frog to describe us in a way. It's some backstory to it, but you know, we can identify with that. And hey, I feel like frogs.
Backstory.
I can't really give you the backstory, but what I can tell you is that how I see a frog as a person and an animal that's always, or amphibian that's always ready to just jump in and they're ready to go and they bounce where they are welcomed, I feel, right? And so that's a little bit how we roll as sorority sisters. We go where we're welcomed. We go where we're needed, and that's how I roll as a person. So yes, I like frogs, and I like green. That's my last name, so makes sense.
Okay. Well, there you go. and I was like, oh wait, is this super secret that we're not supposed to know about sorority sister stuff? Okay,
could be.
Got it. I've been a little sister in a fraternity. I know that is kind of weird, but the university that I went to did not have sororities. It only had fraternities. And I was like, I'll be a little sister. What do I have to do?
Yeah, so that's exactly it. What do you have to do? Get that laundry list out, girlfriend, because they will put you to work.
Oh, you know the truth. Okay. So Sharon says, hello, Mrs. Illinois Galaxy.
Ralph, hi, how are you? Ralph hello.
And Ralph is Filipino and is one of our die-hard cronies, so we are always grateful for him to be in the space because he has great questions too. So, well, I'm glad you like frogs. I always ask, and I know you watch the show enough so you know, but the first person I ever asked that live on camera for like an official interview was Pia Warsbach. So you are now amongst the queens of the universe. So there you go.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're queen of the galaxy. It's really all right, man.
You know, take up space. It's all good.
Exactly. Thank you, Zosie. Okay. Oh, I think that was by far and large like the take up space. We need to take up way more space. So, all right. So let's talk about why you do this crazy thing called pageantry. Because as I have said multiple times, hundreds of interviews, this thing's nuts.
You know what, Stacey, it is nuts, but you know what? It's a good kind of nuts. I think that pageantry really does allow women the opportunity to show up, to set aside all of their responsibilities, to get glam, and also to reach their communities in a way that they may not have been pushed to do so before, right? Because in pageantry, and depending on the pageant, you certainly have to have a mission and a bigger purpose and a bigger meaning. But for me personally, I got started in pageantry at the age of 12. So it's kind of ingrained in how I was brought up. So even when I try to step away from pageantry, there's always something calling me to come back to it. And as we talked a little bit in our pre show, I feel like a newbie again, right? Because I have been out of the game for a little bit and now I am back and competing for the title of Mrs. Galaxy is just like a dream come true. So with all the craziness, it's like at the end of the day, go for your dream. And if you cannot turn it off, that means that you need to show up and show out. So that's why I'm still here all
I
these years
love
later.
okay, so what made you originally get into pageantry? Was it something that your mom said to you, "Hey, you're going to do this," or did you go, "Mom, mom, mom"?
No, so you know what? My introduction to pageantry was actually a little unique. So I grew up in the south side of Chicago, in an impoverished area. However, the school that I went to had a charm program. And so through this charm program, we would go through like etiquette training, how to dress for interview at a very young age. So like I say, 12, I think it was seventh grade, I believe. And so after you got done with the charm program, we had a pageant at the end of the program, and it was called Miss Harold Washington. So that was the name of our school. So at the age of 12, I won Miss Harold Washington, and that is where it took off for me in terms of my interest. However, like I say, I grew up on the south side of Chicago in an impoverished situation. My mom did her absolute best, but it was three of us. So when she tried to put me in pageantry as I got older, I didn't come across as competitive because I didn't have the resources to, right? So as I got older, it was something that I observed from afar. Like my mom and I went to Miss Illinois USA. We bought tickets. Like we would go to the events, but I couldn't necessarily compete. So I got out of the industry for quite some time, but I always watched. Like every single year, I'm watching USA because it was something that was in the fiber of my being, right? Like that is how I was groomed, to be honest. I really was, as a pageant girl. And so then I got back in 2007, I believe, and there was a smaller pageant in North Chicago called Miss North Chicago, not associated with the America Association, just a different pageant. And so from that point, when you won, you could go to another system. And so then it kind of took off from there. And here we are now after an 8-year hiatus. Hello.
Right. I mean, to some degree, like so the first pageant I ever did was literally in a mall. And then I went, I'm going to do Teen USA.
A mall to Teen USA. Okay, girl. What'd your wardrobe look like? Because I could tell you some stories about mine. And quite honestly, I'm still trying to figure out the wardrobe thing.
Okay, I've been competing for 40 years, and Regine was on yesterday. Regine sent me pictures of when the pandemic started, and she was on, and then last night, and we both went, wow, things have changed. So even that, I mean, I I know that every single time I have a title, things change. But my very first pageant, I wore blue eyeshadow with a peach colored dress, and my hair was up in a cute little side bun over to like, like literally, that was horrible.
Stacey, we are soul sisters right now because after that Miss Hero Washington pageant, I don't know what pageant my mom put me in, but it was like 100 contestants. And I had like this side thing going on, came over to the side. And if one of my best girlfriends is watching right now, she's already going to know what I'm going to say, and she doesn't even know this story. But of course, my dress was
Is
red,
it
right?
Jada?
No, it's not Jada.
Jada's making comments.
But no, so my mom puts me in like this red party dress, and my hair is like souped over to the side, and my walk was like really animated. Like when I turned, it was like almost like a mannequin turn. It was. But hey, it's an experience. It's definitely one that I can appreciate.
I was
And
pretty sure mine was always short.
no, mine is OC, girlfriend.
Mine was 1985 that like I was in Florida Teen USA, which ironically Maria was in Teen USA the same year. Maria Torres, the director of Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, are you serious? Like we have that far back. And so I was pretty sure like everybody had totally like there was no passable way that anything remained from that until I was at Miss Universe in 2019 and one of our viewers was like, hey, I found this footage of you. And I went,
hide it right now.
okay. So this was the second patch. So just the hair. You can't wait.
No, you look fine. I think, yeah, if I had a photo, girl, you look good.
And then, no, because it gets worse. Like my husband was like, he calls it the baked potato dress.
Let's see.
Hold on. There's too much light. Hold on. Let me see if I can turn off the light. You can't see it. There's too much light.
I can't see it.
Yeah. Anyways, I will put it.
I think you're being too hard on yourself.
No, it's really is. But I was like, okay, yeah, no, like, but I mean, I think that's the biggest reason that we all do this is as my forehead comes into the way, so that we have an ability, like I think there's so much growth that happens through the process, and that I think is a really big part of that. And I mean, obviously, it gets you, and you kind of go, well, I kind of like this. Maybe it's good. First, let me just shout out. Jada Jones says, yes, show up, shout out. Ralph,
hey, Jada.
I will get to your Angel Reyes says, Illinois represent.
Oh,
Jada,
Illinois.
Laughing. She said, you don't know what you don't know.
And I had not a clue.
Because but like, and we don't know, like we're thinking we're out there doing our best selves, whatever that is. But like, I mean, I remember like once I got into Mrs., I was just like, no, none of my family is ever allowed to come and watch me ever again. Because my mom would be like, no, you need to wear this and you need to do this. And I'm like, no. How about if I just like be me? So and this is new because like now you've got a family and you've got kids and like, so let's talk about like, as my husband refers to himself as my Sherpa, how is your support system? I see it.
So, the funny thing about my husband and I, as it relates to pageantry, is one of our first, it wasn't even a date, right? It was like one of our first, okay, let me just give you the backstory. Okay. So my husband and I, we met at my office. He came in, I'm not going to make it that long, but anyway, we met at my office at the time back in 2013, I believe. And so he went from meeting me at the office, finding me on Facebook, whatever. Okay. Not whatever, babe. I love you, but I'm just trying to get past the story. So in 2013, I was also competing for the title of Miss Belleza Latina. And so competing for that title, I was having a Miss USA watch party. See, I told you I love that. So it was myself, another sister queen. We had like local celebrities. And at this time, my husband was playing arena football. So I was like, okay, great. Met this guy. Let's have him show up. So he showed up to the party with a couple of his players, like me, the BS Latina sisters we were there, and we had like our media person. We made an appearance out of it. It was fun, and we also donated to charity. So he met me in this element, right? So a lot of what we do is tied into pageantry. My husband is also in the television industry. So when it comes to like photography and really appreciating the stage element, the entertainment element, and how busy you can get, he really does appreciate it. And he knows when to fall back and he knows when to show up. So, yeah, he just knows how it works. So I'm very thankful and appreciative of that. But it does make it hard sometimes, right? Because I'm not always on, and my professional life and my personal life does not look like a pageant girl. So, you know.
And I think there's a lot of us that have, like, I you know, like, I know I'm a gymnast. I own a gymnastics company, so like most of the time, my students are like, Miss Stacy, what did you do to your face when I'm wearing makeup? Or if they see a picture of me, they're like, why did you do? And I'm like, and I get that. Like my other life is not this. If my hair is ever done, I'm like, okay, like it's generally a ponytail and no makeup, and why would I wear anything sparkly ever? But it gives me those moments to be girly because it's not in my DNA to be very girly. So, the things that it has given me is an ability to, glow up, like for
Yeah,
real,
that's
legit.
awesome.
And, and I think that we all do it for lots of different reasons. Let me see who's here. Pamela says, shout out Illinois. You got
Hey, Pam, how
me.
are you? Thank you for joining.
And then Jada says, support is key.
It is.
Amen to that.
Yes.
It takes a village to raise a title holder. Oh my. And that's the other thing too, is I don't think people see there's layers to this. So, we have this concept in the United States that is not necessarily the most positive concept of pageantry, because I think social media and reality television took what pageantry was and distorted it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that shift like over the years, and that was really kind of what brought this to come to light, was because I didn't like that. Like I didn't like the fact that I go, yeah, I'm Mrs. Brewer, I'm Miss Brewer, and then people go, oh, you do pageants. That's nice. I mean, when I lived in Texas, I was like, great, where are we going? Let's go. Come on, we're all together. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so do you guys, do you find that is difficult? Do you have that kind of pushback too? Or do you find that it's pretty accepting in Illinois? Like, tell me about that.
I've actually always had a really positive experience. Any appearance that I've gone to, anyone that I meet, anyone that I know that knows that I'm in pageantry, and it's something that, like I say, it's in the fiber of my being. It's how it was groomed as a young child. So I've never had anyone give me much pushback. And I don't mean to sound negative, but usually if somebody's really not into it, it's because they don't have the courage to get into it, or they don't know where to start. And so typically, as human beings, instead of us embracing what someone else is doing and trying to learn about it and be inquisitive, you do give that pushback, and you look at it in a negative light because you're shrinking yourself because you don't have the courage to do it. So that's what I find. If that does happen, that's what the root of it truly is. But fortunately for me, I've never had that type of interaction with anyone personally. I've seen it happen, on the sidelines. And then, as I mentioned before, I really do go places where I know that I'm going to be welcomed, and I know that I'm going to be appreciated for who Candace is. And then the title is just a cherry on top. So I could never see myself in a situation where I'm just going to go and I'm like, I don't belong here. My personality doesn't fit. My cultural background doesn't fit. Who I am I'm not going to go where I don't belong and where I'm not welcome. So yeah, I have never experienced that. Mm-hmm.
So I know the answer to this because you mentioned BL.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, two of my best friends, Annie Vidal is one of my dearest friends, the first Ms. BL, and then Diana Lawrence is my director, and she was the second Mrs. Galaxy. So I'm just going to say that, but Ralph asks, how did you discover Galaxy pageants? the Galaxy pageant system, and what is your platform? Good question.
Sure. Thank you, Ralph. And thank you again for joining. So I found Galaxy through the Belleza Latina pageant system. They are sister pageants. So I did compete in 2013 and was so thankful and grateful to earn the title of Miss Belleza Latina in 2014. So you compete in 13 and your title is 14 because of course it carries you over through that entire year. So with Galaxy being the sister pageant, it just made sense. We all party together. We have a good time together. We take photos together. It is an amazing energy. It's an amazing sisterhood. It is just, it's like no other, because at the end of the day, if what Galaxy and BL are going to do is we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good party. Like I've told the director on several occasions, like, girl, that white party, because
Thank you. Yes.
and so if you guys have never been to the white party, you're just seeing a bit
What
of it,
you
right?
don't
From
know,
photo
you
and
don't
video.
know, but you don't know what you're missing.
There's an energy there. It's really different, and it actually takes you away from being in competition mode for a little bit. Even though you know that you're there for that one goal to compete, you do have the chance to step back and just really have fun and just be with everybody and feel this energy. And you have the lights and the DJ. And I'm a party planner and event planner also. So for me, that's just my lane. I remember the year that I crowned my successor, I went up behind the DJ booth and I'm like acting like I'm scratching on the mix table, So for me, that energy is just like everything. So, but what is my platform? Thank you. That is a really good question. I don't necessarily have a platform. I have a passion. And so my passion is live life to the fullest. So what that is for me is not only personally to live life to the fullest, but for me to educate other people and empower other women, children, men to live life to the fullest, because life is incredibly short. So if there is a dream that you have, a goal that you have, something you wrote down 10 years ago, go ahead and put the pedal to the metal, because you never know. You could wake up in your life that you thought you had 20, 30 more years to live. It can be taken in the blink of an eye. And I know that from personal experience. So that's what I am there to share with the world. And that is what I do in my personal life. If anybody knows me, they're like, Candace has her hands in everything. And that's because I need to exhaust all of my dreams, all of my talents. I'm not sitting on anything. If it comes in my mind, that's what I'm doing. And Ralph, to answer your question, that is my platform. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Ralph says great answer, and good luck at the upcoming.
Thank you. Thank you, Ralph. So sweet.
Regine's in the house. Regine,
Hey, girl. She and I talked the other day.
Oh, all the wait. So that speaks volumes, and let's go back a little bit. So, like the one thing I can always say, I have judged a few times. There is always a party to be had at Galaxy. I there is video of me salsing on stage. And my friends are like, "Are you really gonna do that?" I'm like, "Sure. Like, why not? Let's go have fun." In the middle of the pageant, it's important for us to get our party on while we're. Maria makes you feel like you are there to have the best time of your lives. And I know that all the queens love her and adore her. And anybody that I know that I've gone, hey, come on, let's go. They walk away going, that's really cool. And that is really what I love, is seeing. Oh, I know. Oh, there's video, Regine. I wish I was going to be there. I'm so bummed that I'm not. I'm not going to tell you I can salsa well, but I do live in Miami, so I got to have some. I mean, I'm a gringa. Like, there's no way. But it's fun to watch. I think I think Maria released the video about 6 weeks ago. Like, she was doing like snippets of, or maybe Crystal, but you can go back there. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm ready too,
girl.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, like, for most of the ladies, like, so I was on the panel that picked Crystal and Crystal. I was like, yeah,
oh, how sweet.
We did it. That's our fault. Um, and I was like, did anybody notice that we both picked Crystal and Crystal?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's beautiful though.
yeah,
Like
it
things are
was,
divine. It all happens as it should.
yeah. And then like we had a good time, and but I don't think that anybody recognized what was about to happen in the world. And for many of the sisters, this has become a very long, extended title. So, when did you decide that you were going to compete as for Illinois or as Illinois and go to Galaxy? And what really what was that thing that made you go, I got to do this again?
Sure. So I actually toyed the idea. I believe I had a conversation with Maria Torres back in, I think it was 19 or something like that. She was going to have the pageant in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so I live in a suburb of Chicago, so that made sense, right? Because like as you mentioned before, sometimes when you compete as a Mrs. or if you have to travel, it's hard to really have your family show up or, coordinate those schedules and things like that. So with it being in Chicago, I was really interested in competing. And then as you mentioned, the world shut down, right? So the pageant didn't happen. And then I'll just be completely honest. I had some things take place in my personal life, had a new baby, some things happened, and it really derailed me from a few things. And so pageantry was the last thing on my mind. I decided that I was jumping back in and going for a Galaxy this year. And on several occasions, I tried to talk myself out of it. I tried to tell myself that you're not good enough. You don't deserve to be on that stage. All of the insane negative talk that you can talk to yourself, right? So I decided to do what I always do, which is to commit, which is to work on my mindset and to fulfill my commitment. So that's my answer. And I'm just interested and excited to see what this journey is going to be like, because I was really looking forward to competing after my experience at Belleza Latina, and that didn't happen through merit, all the things, right?
All the things like
All of the
mean,
things.
it's been
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing is like pageantry changes and it
Mm-hmm.
changes and it evolves. And for a lot of ladies, Regina and I talked about this last night. A lot of ladies, you think, okay, Miss Universe or Miss America, like that's it. You hit 26 or 27. In my day, it was 24.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to that age and you're too old and it's all over. And thank God that that didn't happen for I mean Galaxy was one of the very first systems. I don't know, I want to say the first, but one of the very first systems to build that out and to allow Ms. and women with children that were single to participate in a pageant, and depth to it, so that it wasn't a dead end, that when you hit this magical number it was all over. But
Mm-hmm.
with that comes layers of we're juggling a whole lot more now. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not as easy. And what does that queen look like? And when Mrs. Pageants in the beginning, like Mrs. Pageants were, you look just like you, the 24-year-old that just stopped competing that got married.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness that is not what's happening now. Thank goodness that we have depth and breadth to it.
Mm-hmm.
Representation matters. So like I was there when the first plus size Mrs. Galaxy was crowned, and I cried because I was like, thank you for seeing her, thank you for allowing us to be seen, thank you for recognizing that the best person doesn't necessarily come in a specific package that we need to represent.
Mm-hmm.
And that this external thing is not who we are.
Right.
I see you're having feels.
Okay. You're good, Stacey. You're good. No, I mean, it just means a lot. Everything that not only you've stated, but everything that the galaxy system stands for, they stand for cultural appreciation. And so what that means for me, it's not just your cultural background in terms of ethnicity or anything like that. It's appreciating your culture in terms of what makes you and where you come from. And you don't necessarily have to have this certain type of background to be accepted, or for you to have this sort of upbringing or resources to be accepted. It's really somewhere where you can be appreciated for all of who you are and whatever culture you're from. Like I said, it goes far and so much further than just ethnicity, but just the culture and of who you are. Because personally, for myself, I struggled for a little bit in pageantry, where it's like I have to show up as Candace in every single environment, right? So authenticity for me, and excuse me, I am nervous, right? So just please bear with me. I
Don't
don't
be
stutter
nervous.
like this on a regular basis, but
Okay. Regine just said preach. So
preach,
like
yeah.
this is okay, but you know what? This is important because it's okay to have feelings, and it's
Mhm,
okay to let them out, and it's okay to not have everything be hi, I'm
mhm,
perfect. Because you know what?
mhm,
We're not. We're not perfect. And
mhm.
I probably should probably preface, I actually am a therapist, so that's part of why.
So you read all the way into me.
But, you know,
I
okay,
love
and
it.
I tell
I love it.
everybody when there was a point when I was possibly being picked up from for a TV network, they would tell me, "You've got to be clear cut, stop at 30 minutes, people won't stay." And I was like, "I can't, because the therapist in me gets to 25 minutes and all of a sudden we go, there's the gem.
Mhm,
Oh, wait,
mhm.
let me feel it." And I want that. Don't be
Sure.
afraid. Don't be afraid to be human.
Yeah.
Humanity, feeling, showing your emotions allows other people. Look at me. I'm even my body language is leaning in because I'm going, it's okay. I can make you feel better. Help. I will help. Don't.
No, and and I don't want to misspeak, right? Because it's not something that makes me saddened, and it's not something that moves me in a way to where it's a bad thing at all. It is so not negative. It is so incredibly positive. As I try to express, in the past there have been situations where I would compete in a pageant and I would notice that it's I and I'm not speaking about refinement, right? There's one thing to show up in pageantry and you want to be refined and you want to make sure that you speak well and things of that nature. Great. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about preparation. I'm talking about where you have to fit into a certain mold in order to be successful or in order to be seen. And so for me, it is very important that I'm Candace, period. So if you're okay with a little slang every now and then, or a hey girl, or, for me to talk about the things that I do in the community, and you're okay with me expressing to you the rawness and the realness of what I do and the lives I touch, awesome. If that's a little bit too deep for you and you can't handle it, and you can't handle me putting on the hair and the lashes and earrings and it all goes together, that's fine. So I appreciate Galaxy that allows women to show up in the fullness of who they are. And that is exactly why I'm competing at Galaxy, because that is what they do. And those are the types of queens that they crown. And that's the type of sisterhood that we have. Like many of the class of 2022, we have a group chat going on. We're sharing pictures. We're telling stories about our families. We're engaged, and we haven't even made it to Texas yet.
It should be that way, though.
And everybody is appreciative of that other person. Nobody's counted out. And I think that's the short end of what I'm trying to convey. Nobody at Galaxy, since my time of being their title holder with Belleza Latina, nobody was counted out. Everyone can show up. And so I think for me, that makes me feel that it's anyone's game. And that's awesome. That brings the fun back into the atmosphere. And it also takes a lot of the anxiety out of it too, because you can actually go and know that what you have to offer and what you bring to the table, it's accepted and it's welcomed, and it brings color to the environment.
That's good. I love that. You know, show up, and what was it early? Show up
Show up
and
and
show
show
up.
out.
Oh yes, that
Yeah.
and it's true. Like so now we have our theme. I should put that in the notes. Um Jada says vulnerability is beautiful. It is. And I think that's the bigger part of all of this is that I mean, I'm never going to tell you it's not stressful. It is. Like, this is not easy. This is not a sport for the faint of heart. It's hard. It's hard work. And again, we talked about this before, before pre-show. Um, you're putting yourself on a stage to have someone tell you no, 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 or maybe, or yeah, but, or okay, yeah, we like that, but you don't know. And 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 there's a set of judges, but there's also whoever is watching, and your family, and the things, and then the people that you encounter along the way, and how does that get read? And are are you authentic? And I hear it over and over again, and I always tell people, like, I want authenticity. I and trying to describe what that is. What is authenticity? Are we allowing ourselves to be our true selves while being our best selves, at the same time going, hi, I'll take that score, please. Hey, there it goes. There's the
Right?
score.
Yeah.
So, Angel had a great question earlier. I'm sorry, Angel. We got deep really fast. Okay, that went good.
We're vibing, girl. We're vibing.
Yeah, I cannot not tell you. Like, and I don't know where it's going to go. The journey goes where it goes. And I don't know what's going to happen, because, like, we don't know what questions are going to ask. We're not going to know how you're feeling, how I'm feeling. Like, same people, same judges, different day. It's the same thing. So Angel, sorry, asks, what motivates you to push forward through your journey? Great question. Oh yeah, let's go deep again. Sorry, laugh again.
Sure. No, Stacey, you're a mess. I love it. So what motivates me to push through my journey? It's living out loud. It's knowing that, as I mentioned, life is short, and it doesn't make sense to live as though I have a million more years on this planet. And this is not coming from a place of, sadness or darkness. It's coming from a place of reality. It's coming from a place of knowing what it is to lose someone that you never in a million years would think that you would lose in a short period of time. And so with that, I am awakened to say, every single thing that God has ever put in my heart or ever put in my brain, I am going to execute, period. So that is my motivation, because my goal is, I'm going to leave here one day, right? We all are. We don't like to talk about it, but it's real. And I want to make sure that the two little girls that I have, when they're 90, and how old will I be? Like 140? Anyway. And
100?
right? No, 90, 100. And my husband, and the communities that I've reached, and the children that I've met, and the youth that I've inspired, and people that have welcomed me, supported me, and all of these things, and all of these dreams, that they have been touched by that. And I'm going to go spiritual, but my reason is that whenever that day comes in a million years from now, I don't want to meet my creator and he look at me and say, whoa, 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 you were supposed to be over here. And you remember in 2019, you were supposed to be over here. And in 2035, you were supposed to be over here. What were you doing? I don't want that. I want him to receive me whenever that time comes in a million years, to say, well done. And that is what pushes me. And also knowing that no one knows when that time is, it makes no sense to sit on ideas, because the moment that I sit on an idea, that means that someone else is missing out from something that they could take from me that's going to be valuable to push them forward to the next level. So that's it.
I'm going to get a little deep on my side. It doesn't happen a lot, but you've inspired me. I do talk about my journey often. I'm not afraid or ashamed to talk about it. I am the survivor of sexual and physical abuse as a child. That's what brought me to pageantry in a very strange way. My mom, after being abused, put me in a pageant. And that's not where the story usually starts. Usually the story starts at the age of 30 when I was diagnosed with terminal cancer and I was given 8 weeks to live. And that was 25 years ago. And I came back to pageantry 5 years after that because I really felt like I had a story. I've had cancer 3 times since then. I have congestive heart failure side effect from my original cancer and its treatments. And then 2011, I was hit by a truck riding my bicycle. So life's changed.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things when I wasn't sure, like even though this pageant journey has really been one to be able to share the story. In 2010, a really good friend of mine was diagnosed with end-stage cancer, and I was in Texas, and she said, listen, I need you to come home. I need you. And I moved home. I moved back to Miami. And 2 days before she died, she looked at me and she goes, hey, Stay, if you died tomorrow, what would you want to hear at your funeral? And I was like, well, I don't know. It's not going to happen. So not for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to happen. And I said, but you know what? I would want to know that I changed a life.
Mm-hmm.
She grabbed my hand and she goes, she did.
Wow.
She had a stroke that night. She knew.
Mm-hmm.
And she passed away less than 48 hours later.
Mm-hmm. And that changed you. I know it did.
In a way, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not to say that my journey before that didn't have breadth.
Mm-hmm.
It did. And it's not to say that the journey forward has been even more important, because it hasn't. But that was that moment where when I stood in front of all of her friends and family, there was a line out the door as I spoke the eulogy. And I said those words to everybody. And I said, just be the change, be that
Mm-hmm.
person, be the
Mm-hmm.
drop. And so I say it very often. A wave of change starts with a drop in the ocean. Be the drop.
Mm-hmm.
So do that. Do you, be you, live you, do as I speak for my successor as she's Bootaloo. Be you, do you, live you.
Mm-hmm.
Love you. Sorry, Esther, if you're watching, I apologize.
but we get it for sure.
Like, and I mean, I don't get emotion living. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, thank you, Jada. Thank you. I am living my legacy now. It is like all of us are living, our best selves at that moment, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
is. So like, we got to do that. And that comes with layers.
Mm-hmm. Because it's ever changing.
Yeah.
It's ever changing.
And the stages of life. I mean, again, I'm 56 and I'm like, what are we going to do now? I don't know. Hang out with a bunch of beauty queens and glow up.
And talk.
Oh, areas of competition. We haven't even talked about areas of competition. Okay, what's your favorite phase of competition, Angel?
Angel, my favorite area of competition is interview. That is my number one. And my number two is fashion wear. So the reason why those are my favorites, number one, interview, because you really get to connect or try to connect, right? Because like you say, different judges, different day, different result. However, I think that in that interview process, people really get to see your heart. So once they've seen your heart, everything else that they see on stage or how they see you interact with people, they know a little bit more of who you are than just what meets the outward eye, right? And so in the interview room, I just feel that has always been a space where I've been able to be my authentic self and even inspire judges, right? Because I've been in pageants where the judges come and talk to me after, like, oh my God, I can't believe, this happened, or thank you for sharing that, because that's pushed me to want to go and do this. And as you mentioned, just to reach that one life. And I think that in the interview room, you're able to do that as well. You don't know who you're going to reach. You don't know who your story is going to inspire. And then for someone to really see who you are at your core, even if it's just 5 minutes of your core, it just it puts the cherry on top of everything else that they see in the other areas of competition. And then fashion wear is my favorite, my second favorite, because you get to be as like, you can be as like chill as you want, or you can be as elaborate as you want. And so also, one of the things that I've always been passionate about since a child is fashion. My mom bought me this little thing. You probably remember it, in the 80s. It was called Fashion Plate. And so I would play with like the fashion,
Yeah.
right? Fashion Plate.
Thing, and you change the outfits and you switch it out.
Absolutely. Yes. And so she
You're not old
started,
enough to know what that is.
girl, I'll be 40 in November.
Oh, I'm old enough for your babysitter.
But thank you. So she got me that fashion plate. And so not only did she get me the fashion plate where I play with it, but again, something else in my life that became part of the fiber of who I am, because she also started to call me a fashion plate. So I was always into fashion. I was a girl who I was in school, we wore uniforms, right? Like I said, inner city school we went to, we had to wear uniforms because you didn't want to be identified as this gang or that gang. So we didn't wear uniforms because it was a private school. We wore uniforms for safety. But I was the child that showed up, instead of having on tennis shoes, I had on little heels and, things of that nature. So I've always been very interested in fashion. So the fashion wear competition for me just allows you to be a little bit crazy, or you can be a little bit laid back, just depending on how you're feeling in that moment. And again, I've been like on stage in some level, whether it be at a school or community center involved in the arts. So just getting up on stage with my little walk, whether it be, traditional pageantry walk or walking too fast, Candace is in a hurry walk. I just love everything that fashion wear competition provides and offers. And not every pageant has the fashion wear competition. And I think that just allows you to show up and be unique and allow the judges to see what you like, right? That it tells a story. And I'm a storyteller too. So it just all comes together.
Yeah, Diane and I earlier, we were going over stuff from pageant this week because I gave up my title on Saturday. I'm still not emotionally. Oh, it's still a thing. I still have pageant hangover, and so, but we were talking, and it was like areas of competition for Galaxy. She's like 4. It's interview 25%, swimsuit.
Photogenic 15.
Photogenic is 15.
Mm-hmm.
So is there 5?
So we have photogenic, interview, fashion wear, swimwear, evening gown.
So it is 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
That she knew that she said photogenic had been added because it was originally 4 when she competed. So it was it was photogenic, interview, evening gown, and swimsuit, and then Maria added fun fashion. So
okay.
Yes. So I was like, she and I were both like, wait, what's the math?
The math wasn't mathing.
Math was not mathing. And we were both like, wait, what? It's really bad when we have these conversations, and she I love her. Oh my gosh. I just in the Wayback Machine, I remember the year Diana won, I judged Texas Galaxy that year. And so her miss and her teen were Texas miss and teen. So I chose them. And I was like, well, I guess if you'd been in Texas, I would have chosen you too. Oh gosh, I guess I've been involved for a whole lot longer than I think. All right. So what have we not talked about that you would like other people to know about you, that maybe is something that you've got in your back pocket and you're like, I don't know. All right. Ralph says, by the way, great show, has to go. He works at the airport and has to be up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Ralph, be safe. Thank you.
But he's always awesome. Filipino love. That's what pageantry is about. Filipino and Hispanic love. Oh, it is. That's why I'm always like, why do people in Miami not get the whole pageantry thing? I mean, we have a Miss Universe. Well, we have 3 Miss Universes that live here. But anyways, okay. So what would you like people to know that we have not touched on?
You know, I can be a very private person, so whatever I do share, it's like that's just scratching the surface. So I like to have a little bit of mystery to myself. Um, so I don't think there's anything else I want to share. I would just say one of my favorite lines is "Stay tuned."
Dot,
Say
dot,
what's
dot,
next? Dot
dot,
dot dot.
dot.
The cliffhanger, right?
Dong. I'm sorry. I'm a major goofball, and so like I mean, and I guess I should be more reserved. I mean, you would think that I would be more reserved and refined at this point, but like that really I think is the best part that I've seen in the evolution of pageantry is that now we can be accepted for who we are.
Yeah, and I think that makes you more relatable, right? Because if you can't connect with people, or people can't identify with you in any way, with there's nothing to you that they can connect with, then like you said, you missed out on an opportunity. And I think that's something that we should not do. So you definitely don't want to go around and just be molding yourself to fit every single person, but just the more authentic you are, and just the more, just real and relaxed and relatable, you reach more. Oh, like this little girl, I have to tell you the story. So I went to the had a community service event earlier in the week, and there was this little girl. Her name was Gia. And when I tell you, Gia's like this little 4-year-old girl. She's experienced trauma in her life, but when she met me, she was just so willing to come and have that conversation with me, right? She didn't feel that she had to back away. She didn't feel that she couldn't come and touch me. And I got down and I talked to her, and I'm like, "Hey Gia, what's going on, girl? How you doing?" And just really having that conversation and speaking her language like in that moment. And she clung to me for the rest of my time there. And she made me a little Play-Doh ring, but I don't know where the Play-Doh ring is now. But
Aww.
but it was just one thing where, I will remember her because she not only accepted me in a space where, I'm coming into an environment hoping that they can accept and receive and know what I'm there for and what I have to offer, but then she also she wanted me to be there, so we embraced each other. And so just knowing that experiences like that come from being myself and being relatable and really connecting is just powerful. And I think that's one thing that pageantry, community service, all these good things, and all of the fabric of who you are, that's just how you light up other people's lives. And I think that's what it's all about.
I can really. I had an appearance in Texas. I used to work with a charity called Queen for a Day. It's now called the 4 Day Foundation, and we had parties for kids that were going through cancer treatments, and
Mhm.
we went to the hospitals and we did these parties. And like I have none of my crowns from all of my years of competing because I actually gave my crowns away to the organization. So we used real queen crowns, for title because you're not going to save them.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, I mean, I have a few that I've kept that are my faves, but at the end of the day, like you compete and you don't necessarily keep them all. Um, and what happened to be when we were being covered by the news, and we were in this hospital, and there's a little girl that couldn't come out to the play area because she was isolated,
Mhm.
and they said, well, she really wants you to come and do her nails and her makeup. And so the entire news crew came with us. And um, her name was Jasmine. And, you know, she lit up. Like we did her makeup and we did her nails. And she got up and started walking. And her doctor came in, and her doctor was like, I can't believe she's out of bed. She hasn't been out of bed in the 6 months she's been in this hospital. And when I got home, I got an email from her mom, and her mom said, "You've just made Jasmine's life. Like you
Mhm.
just." She looked at her mom and she said, "Mom, I'm a queen, and when I die, I want to be buried with this crown and this sash." And she died 2 days later.
Wow.
And mom sent me a very wonderful message and said, "You really changed her life." And I thought, how can this not be how can this magical animal, the pageantry, not be that legacy? And knowing that that one child. In that moment, I was at the right place at the right time. And I just keep waiting for all of those moments that are supposed to happen so that we can go, I'm here for you, whatever you need, whatever you need, that moment. So pageantry is a whole lot more than a crown on your head, as I say often. Crown on the jewelry on your head does not make you a queen. It is what's in your heart.
I agree.
So how do we follow you? How do we know what you're doing? Follow the journey over the next like crazy 10 days? Oh my God. Sorry.
Sure. So you can follow me on Instagram at MRS Candace Green. See, easy.
Easy.
Mrs. Candace Green.
And beyond, because it doesn't end next week. It just keeps going. Finals are on August 7th. I don't know if they are going to be live. August 6th. Okay, it's the photo shoot on August 7th. The photo shoot. Ooh, I told Regine last night the carpet's not going to be the same. You know, because you know.
Oh yeah, from the Carib.
I got issues with that. Sorry, Maria. Oh my gosh. Sharon says congratulations and continued success. The journey doesn't stop. Whatever happens beyond, they can follow you and be able to follow what you're doing and how you're changing the world.
Oh yeah, because there's definitely a lot of work that I'm doing. There is a lot going on, and I would appreciate if people did follow me on social so that they can get involved and just be a part of the journey. And you never know who I may need to reach out to for resources for different programs that I'm implementing and all that good stuff. So I would certainly appreciate it. The pageant is definitely a goal of mine. It's definitely bucket list for sure, because like I say, I have history with the system and the sister system. However, this is much bigger than pageantry for me. This kind of woke me up from my slumber, I like to say, because things had gotten really interesting for a little bit. So some things that have been in motion for a while now have like been catapulted through competing in this system, because when the switch went off in my mind to move forward with Galaxy, the switch went off for everything else. So a lot of things that were I don't want to say dormant, because I'm always working on something, but things that I may have been a little bit shy to move forward in, or not really sure how it would be received, or getting caught up in the receptiveness of the public. Knowing that I wanted to do the Galaxy pageant, and knowing that my mission is a lot larger, and the philanthropy that I have in mind, and the legacy that I'm looking to make sure it maintains and it is immortal in some way, it cannot lie dormant. So follow me on social so you can see what I'm doing, because I'm about to change the game.
Changing the world using crown and sash.
Hey, you know, with the crown and sash, or if not, you know,
whatever.
Follow me so you can see, because I'm really excited, and I'm very excited to bring others along with me. So that's what I'm about, and that's what I do.
Awesomeness. You guys.
Thank you, Stacey.
All right.
Let me see. My daughters are like, Mom, you can't do the heart.
Okay. My students are like, there's the new one that you do that's this. My teachers like laugh at me because they do it like, I don't know.
What is it? Like, okay, I can't do this. I'm from Chicago, and you're gonna have me looking like I'm throwing up gang signs, and I can't participate.
You know, like I see coordinated activities for small children.
I'm just gonna keep it like this. We'll keep it real basic. Oh, you got me looking at my fingers like, whoa, can't do that.
Yeah, I did. No, it's so. And I was like, you guys are like, you're so. The things that they tell me, like, because you know, I'm like, whatever. Anyways, hold tight. Let me finish. Let me wrap up this show.
Okay.
I'm glad we're laughing. That's good.
You're a mess. I love it.
And that's not going to change.
Don't.
No, I'm very proud of the fact that I'm a mess.
That's how you shine.
I hope so.
Look at you. Mm-hmm.
Or something. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for joining us. I really appreciate it. Again, I can have these great conversations with amazing title holders. It's so much more fun when you guys join us because our crownies make it more interesting, and obviously you get to hear what really pageantry is really about and get to know the heart of it. And that's super important to me. If you haven't already, please like us, follow us, subscribe. Pageantry Now on all things. We're on Twitter too. I don't check it. Like I just can't. That's my husband's job. Everything else I look at. If you send me messages and I'm in the midst of doing stuff, I will get back to you. I have one last Galaxy interview so far. It could change at any moment on Sunday. So I will see everybody when I see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day. Stay safe. And that's a wrap.